So.
Okay, stand by. We are all.
Yeah. Feel it if you will, lyrics keep on coming. Rap up on me dumb, so with lyrics I'll be running. Shooting to the top of the game like I'm gunning. Abusing all these beats with some raps that be touching. Chalet, you be bluffing, talking up the liquor. My raps will paint pictures, Chalet, what you the figure? Or figure like a painter, scratching the perfect picture. My people on the grind, ain't no stopping to be richer. Or living like a cane if you feel it. But you dare, I'ma kill it. Kill it like I'm the illest. Illest like I'm the sickest. Sickest like I'm the realest. Realest like I be doing, having sex with a beat till my lyrics getting born like what? I'll be rapper of the year. Hands to the sky, it's a party up in here. I came in the game, other rappers stop the fear. Put your hands to the sky for the rapper of the year. If you feel it, say the name. All my people shout the name. All my people, if you with it, put your hands to the sky for the rapper of the year. Success carrots, a rap sheet for cherries. I'll die to reach my goal, my ambition, you for furious. My one line be fire, make you whack rappers. I go blow my own horn to the whole world, hear it. I flow out the speaker, hoping my words will reach ya. Be like, say, I will teach ya how to make lyrics sicker or make your rapping deeper. Homie, it's just a beef ya. Be like food, if it's time, I'ma eat ya. Killer flow, Chalet, every time I make you kill a snow. The killers here, you the see, all the killers slow. Same rappers from your mouth, talking chow chow. Same rappers out of everybody's going downtown. Whoa, I'll be rapper of the year. Hands to the sky, it's a party up in here. I came in the game, other rappers start to fear. Put your hands to the sky for the rapper of the year. Say the name. All my people shout the name. All my people, if you with it, put your hands to the sky for the listen, I'm a lyrical miracle, typical, just like a biblical. Physical miracles, spinning sick like clinicals. Critical, cynical rapper, homie, I get rid of you. Lyrical syllables, take you out your rap. Physical, I get at you. Ever forever, I'm getting better. I grind so forever, my people be getting cheddar. Your mind, if your haters will ever think they could. It's a cold world, Charlie, my people wear born with sweaters. So hell yes, rappers, better you call me Dada. My mouth check like bullets, I spit and rappers scatter. Take over the game, other side it no be matter. I did fight with the beats and my lyrics just a patter. Whoa, I'll be rapper of the year. Hands to the sky, it's a party up in here. I came in the game, other rappers start to fear. Put your hands to the sky for the rapper of the year. If you feel it, say the name. All my people shout the name. All my people, if you with it, put your hands to the sky for the rapper of the year. What?
Amazing. 1-0. To the rapper of the year. That's amazing.
What that reminds me of?
Tell me.
When I was younger, there was this musician in the US called Mike Jones.
Yeah.
And after he finished his song, you would never forget his name.
You mentioned his name so many times. He still. I think I remember Mike Jones. I think he was with Dipset.
I don't know.
It was with a group Dipset, I think.
After I finished that one track, I never forgot.
Or was that Jim Jones? No, Jim Jones was the pastor. No, so Mike Jones. I think it was Mike Jones. Yeah, I remember Mike Jones.
But it was like back then, they want me now. Mike Jones.
Mike Jones, the other way he says it. Anyway, Dee, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I feel fantastic this morning, as always. And it's a good thing. Every day I feel fantastic, and I'm happy. I'm happy I feel fantastic.
I'm happy I get to start my week off with you.
Yes, it's very important. I'm a very important person in your life. Very, very important in your life. Anyway.
I saw you having fun last Friday.
Last Friday was super. It was funky and fresh. We spoke about it several times. And last Friday it actually happened. And it was amazing. Like, worldwide. Funky and Fresh was trending at number 2, and it was very huge. You know, the noise we made about it, the hype for Funky and Fresh, it was actually happening. It was good. It was fantastic, and to me, the best dancer for the night, undoubtedly, Sandy Star.
Yes, Sandy Star.
Sandy Star.
She killed it.
And you were there, then you know exactly, you know, or you saw exactly what she was doing on the dance floor. She was just fantastic. You know, so Sandy Star, you hear Sandy Star on City FM a lot, and that was the first time maybe you had seen her.
Social media trend, and she also caused
Traffic Avenue as well.
Traffic Avenue, yeah.
Sandy Star, you try. Sandy Star, she was just amazing.
But OJ was also dancing. Did you see OJ?
OJ was dancing. No, I didn't see OJ.
He was making some old school moves.
No, but OJ cannot make new school moves. OJ,
stop it.
No, you have to stick to his generation. OJ cannot.
That was good. Bracelet and Adjoa. It was fun. It was fun.
Well, yeah.
It was a packed house. It was nice. I think it's a great way to end the week, and I can't wait for the next
month
one.
for that matter.
Oh yeah, the month
Many
just
people
ended.
are waiting for another Funky and Fresh.
Yes, we are waiting. Okay, so Tina, congratulations to
the events team.
Tina and
the events team were just fantastic.
Maggie had a lot of fun. I don't think people noticed how much fun Magdalene
She's always having fun. She's always happy. Sometimes I can just sit for like 20 minutes just watching her. She's just happy. I don't know why. I don't understand.
Exactly. But you should have fun. I mean, that's life.
Why is she always happy? No, in life sometimes you have to be sad. You have to balance the emotions. But Magdalene, she's always happy. Yes.
Oh, stop it.
No. She's always happy.
Aside the fun that we had, I think the weekend was a bit odd, especially on Friday when Mrs. Amy Satha just went off.
Yeah. That video went viral immediately it happened.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so. And I don't even want to just limit it to her husband, but just us as human beings in general. We don't cherish one another enough while we are alive, right? And there's this fascination. There's this old school song. It's like this. Where he talks about the
but you are Kwaku. You spent like 20 years in New York, but then when you are so
at every funeral.
Played
at every funeral.
Yeah. So that's your hobby, going to funerals.
Why? Anyway, the guy talks about how the best bed you would ever sleep on is your dead bed, and it shouldn't be that people show you all the love in the world when you're dead and not while you're alive. So I think we should look at that clip quickly if we have it.
Or maybe we don't. So let's just wait till
we will wait
the
and
video
show it
comes
to you guys. The clip with
but it was interesting. I mean, that clip received mixed reactions.
Yeah.
While
What
some
was your
people,
reaction?
Okay, so while some people were making comments that she was right to have done so, others were saying that you're the wife of the vice president. You put yourself up in a certain position, or you have been put in a certain position that you may have to act in a certain way. No matter how terrible the situation is, you still have to act the role of former second lady and the like. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If I spend 40 years with someone, the worst thing that can happen to me in my life is to lose that person. And once that person is gone, it's like, like I don't understand if people appreciate the magnitude of waking up in the morning, the person is not next to you. Maybe the same people who made fun of him while he was alive are now crying. Some of them probably didn't come visit you when it happened. So it brings back all these memories of if this person had done this, maybe he would have been alive. If this person had done that, and sometimes to your partner, you confide in your partner a lot. So certain things you can't tell the world, you tell your partner, right? And it becomes, who is she going to vent to? If he were alive, maybe that's the person she should have ordinarily spoken to.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's just take a quick look at the video. We hear the video is ready, so let's just look at it, and then we'll come back for some reactions. Remember, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. Or the WhatsApp line?
And we didn't even introduce us.
No, we'll get it. Okay.
We'll do that later.
We'll do it. So the hashtag Breakfast Daily, like we said on all social media platforms.
0550-585-832. 0550-585-832.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is the loud who are often recognized and praises showered on them. But in your quiet and humble way, you excelled wherever you found yourself. Over the last few weeks, I've been amazed at the number of people who have come to show us love. And I ask myself, is this Ghana? Are all these people in Ghana? Because the maligning, the lies, the treachery, the wickedness, the deliberately changing things so that you could look better than others, the mischievousness. I ask myself, is this Ghana? I ask myself, is this my own husband that people have come to pay tribute to? And today, I ask the same question. Did people really know my husband? Did they take time to know him? The false accusations, the lies, the maligning, did they know him? My dearest, me, your children, Kwesi, Mami Boatema, Yao, Atre, your grandchildren, Emily, Pamela, and Eliana, we knew you and we know you. And we know you are a rare gem and we treasure you and we are very proud of you. 1,000 tears won't bring you back. I know because I have cried. But I know that you made your mark in this country and beyond. And you touched many lives. And those who cared to know you, those who cared to give you time to prove yourself, know what a rare gem you are. So I pray that your memory will impact and empower generations.
Hey. Serious. I think at a point she decided, you know what, let me before she is, I mean, my response to the statement I made earlier that there are other people, if you follow the social media conversation and in fact conversations made by or statements made by various people, what I was saying earlier, I'm just going to repeat it, that people felt because you're the vice president's wife, that's the way you need to react. And if you listen to the arguments, it's, you know, initially you would see a bit of, should I say, propriety in it. But then when it comes to the fact that she's a human being before she is the president of the wife of the former vice president, you know, she's a human being. So the statements people were making, they were trying to say that, you know what, everybody has something to say. People are attacked all the time. There's no hiding away from the fact that certain negative and unfortunate comments or unpalatable comments were made in respect of the former vice president. So her reaction is
justifiable. Yes,
I mean that was an honest reaction from her. She was not being fake at all. That was an honest reaction from her. But then you're also looking at the fact that people are saying that, you know what, when you put yourself up for certain political positions, when you put yourself up in the public domain for whatever reason, you have automatically opened yourself up for attacks.
Well, no, but you have to understand that, like you rightly said, our leaders are human beings like us. If you're going to attack someone based on merit, that's fine, right? Yeah. Like if somebody says something they're not supposed to say and we all troll them, that's fine. But to attack a man's sexuality and all kinds of things that are that are baseless, it's wrong, right? And you shouldn't justify it and say, oh, you chose to be a public figure, so we're allowed to do that to you, right? He was the vice president. He did his best, and this is a man who spent his entire life serving the nation, right? So it wasn't even, and the one thing everybody would tell you is he was not a politician, right? So in that case, you empathize with the person, you understand that this is a different kind of person. He likes to work behind the scenes. So this isn't someone we should bring at the forefront of our mockery and attacks and blatant lies. And if we do that while the person is alive, do we have any right to now, you know, say good things about him? Why didn't we do that when he was alive? Why didn't we make him feel the way we are making him feel now. Just as she said, I asked myself, is this Ghana? Or is this the same Ghana that people trolls my husband? And because, I mean, as a man, he has to put on a strong face. But when he comes home, she's the one that has to deal with all the, even the emotional trauma. And I'm assuming, right? I'm just saying, if that were to happen to me, I would rely on my partner. I will cry to my partner, and my partner will see all these things and think to himself, why are they doing this to my wife? And then if something happens to me now, the same people want to come, and we're supposed to be okay. Why didn't you do that when the person, you know?
I also find, and also very unfortunate, still flowing from what you're saying, it's very unfortunate how people find the need to ridicule others on the notion that they put themselves out there. You know, wherever a person is, whether be it politics, whether be it even media, you know, some people need to understand. I mean, people are always ready to comment on maybe a word that you pronounce wrongly, if you're on TV, your outfit. People want to criticize every single thing, but they need to realize that it's, at the end of the day, it's a job. It's how a person is making ends meet. You're at your office, you're working in a bank, you have your little business, you're working at whichever ministry or department. You need to recognize that when what you see as a person putting themselves out there is just a way of him or her feeding himself and the family.
Exactly.
You need to realize that it's a job. It's their career. That's what they're doing. That's where life has put them. So you need to respect each other's privacies and be a bit decent about certain comments you make. If you want to criticize, let it be constructive in nature. Let it not be one to destroy your neighbor. It's really unfair. Some of the things people do. It's very, very unfair.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And speaking of appreciating people while they are alive, City FM and Occupy Ghana submitted a petition. To put an end to all these no bed thing. Like, it shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't talk about health issues in this day and age. Every life is important, right? And it's great that UGMC is open, but I think that it's a step in the right direction where we are telling our leaders that this should be the norm. This shouldn't be an outlier.
That's extremely true. So it's important that there are various health facilities that are not open. Now, beyond the hospitals that are not open, the petition is also calling for the emergency response system, which seems to be close to zero in Ghana. What we have dominant in the country in respect of emergency response are transport vehicles that have sirens. You know, if you have a siren on a transport vehicle, it's not an ambulance system properly so-called. You know, we need to take a look at these things. And, well, as to when the ambulances are coming into the country, it's a whole discussion. I mean, I'm informed and reliably believe same to be true that what is happening at in the world right now is that when you order for an ambulance, it's made for you. So it's difficult to get, for instance, a readily made ambulance to buy. So based on that was what a person who is a reliable source was telling me. So to say that, or to expect ambulances to be in the system next week, next month, may not necessarily be possible. But then, however it is, we believe that the government, successive governments, may not have done the country very good in respect of emergency response. We have a health ministry, we have, you know, Ghana Health Service, we have all these bodies, and at which point did they realize that no bed syndrome is an issue? At which point did they realize that the ambulance system in Ghana is totally failing? You know, at which point did they realize all these things? And why has it gotten to this emergency position or emergency state that the country would, if it's true that the ambulance would have to be built now for you, you know, why is it now? Let's even take this particular government. I mean, the previous government would say that they brought in some vehicles and then they are not being used and the parts are in the harbor and all those things going on. But these are, let's even throw away all these claims.
Let's move away the ambulance. The entire system. We spent close to $1 billion on these facilities and they are not open. Right? So on hindsight, you might think, oh, we're struggling because we don't have the money. We had the money. $1 billion is not small money. Somebody can take that money and transform the whole of Ghana. We spend the money on these hospitals, and they're still not functional. So are we prioritizing? I personally am happy that they petitioned to the president, right? And they asked for deliverables. Like, give us a timeline so that we know that in a year, this and this will happen. In 6 months, this will happen. So that we can actually hold you accountable for some of these things. Because this is our health that we are talking about. This isn't, it's not something you can get back. Once you're sick, you're doomed. And we are all in this country, right? So I think it's important that they not only said, we need changes, we need things to be different, but we also want to know the call to action, the plan. What are the deliverables you're going to meet to ensure that this time next year or this time in 10 years, however long it takes, we can put a date to all these things that we need to accomplish to open these facilities.
Okay. Well, an ordinary citizen will just perceive a silent truth.
Yeah.
You know, based on the lack of information coming from government, a person standing by would just look at the system and say that, look, it appears when it comes to free SHS, we don't have enough money. So we are doing makeshift, you know, short-term measures and the likes as a result of probably the free SHS and the increase in students who will be going to the secondary schools. Now let's look at also the health sector. It appears we don't have money there as well. So I'm wondering, where exactly do we have money?
If you're we looking have money to pay Mary. Where did we get that money from?
Well, the Mary deal, they're trying to extend it in the wisdom of government. We feel, or they feel, sorry, not
we feel.
No, I'm not part of government.
Side gift that I need to know
No. So I haven't been appointed yet. Anyway.
so it's, there's a perception.
Oh no.
Did you just accidentally?
No. So let's just, we can just move on from. Where was I? You just confused
Sorry,
me.
you were saying they're married.
They're married. Yes. So the explanation of government is that, you know what? So instead of us paying the balance left to own this facility in 3 years, let us stretch it to 15 years. But then the 15 years, according to the minority, according to ASEP, IES, and even staff of VRA are saying that, you know what? Let us take our time.
Yeah.
Let us take our time, because this particular facility will cost a little, in fact, over $1 billion, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, over $1 billion.
You'll tell me more during the news review.
Yeah.
We do have a report on the petition that we want to share.
So City FM and Occupy Ghana have petitioned the president
yes.
in respect of abandoned health facilities. Let's take a look at the report.
We're definitely being citizens.
The petitioners, CTFM and Occupy Ghana, are requesting for presidential action to operationalize newly built health facilities and institute a comprehensive emergency response system in Ghana. These two concerns, according to the petitioners, is a matter of serious public interest and of grave public importance that have reached a crisis point. They indicate that the matters now require drastic measures, requiring the presidency to publish a roadmap with timelines for addressing the matters. The petition identifies over 10 abandoned healthcare facilities nationwide and proposes an 11-point plan for a comprehensive emergency response system in Ghana. The petitioners assert that poor healthcare is a gross violation of the inherent right of Ghanaians to good healthcare. They are therefore calling for direct action from the president to ensure that these matters are addressed. The petitioners, however, acknowledge the operationalization in phases of the University of Ghana Medical Center and the International Maritime Hospital, which were initially included in the petition.
Well, I think such cry from the media did indeed, should I say, push or motivate the health ministry and government especially to open the University of Ghana Medical Center. But even that being opened, there's still a lot to be done in respect of same, because if you're dealing with is it referral OPD? Yes, so referral OPD and the likes may not be fully what we are expecting of a hospital. So
especially when you have others laying idle.
Yeah. So we are hoping. So Parliament has indeed approved of the loan facility to complete the hospital, phase 2 of the hospital. So let's just hope everything is done on time and is done with high alacrity, so that the good citizens of Ghana can benefit. But then if you're looking at it from another angle, if you're maybe a finance minister or you're the president and you're looking at it from another angle, you'd realize that because of national health insurance, I mean, this is something that I'm sure government may have considered, even though no government communicator will bring this outside.
Yeah.
You realize that when you have more hospitals, because of the national health insurance, you have to be paying more, because right now, because of the few hospitals, we don't have many people visiting the health facilities, so many of them may be going to private centers and the likes. Now, if you open more government hospitals with such class as we have at the University of Ghana Medical Center, you have more people visiting the hospitals with probably national health insurance cards. It means a bit of money from the consolidated fund would then have to go to paying health insurers or health service providers. So I'm thinking, maybe government may have considered all this and is making sure that we have the money. Let us, rake in a bit more funds, and then if such a situation happens, government will not be found wanting, and then the health insurance may have to collapse as well.
No, I think the most important resource you have in any nation is your human capital. Right? So that should not be, there's no negotiation. Yes. We need to invest, just like we're investing in education, we need to invest in our health. Because these same people, if they are not healthy, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Right? If I'm not healthy today, I can't sit here.
Yes.
Right? If I'm spending all my time in the hospital, not even being treated, then, and it's not an issue of money, because we've already invested over $1 billion in these facilities.
Yeah, it's just an issue of money.
So if we had at least completed the facilities with their allocated funds, then we can say all these facilities are functional. We just need the NHIA or whatever case it may be for people to attend. But as it stands now, they are not even open. Right? So we need to address that first issue before we even get into now we are open for everybody to attend, but they need an insurance card. Yes,
but you see, the issue is not, if it was a self-financing project, for instance, let me use a basic example, like a toll booth. When it has to do with, if you build a toll booth, people will pay in a few years, the project will pay for itself. But then if you have a hospital, you have a school, and you have interventions, social interventions like health insurance, you have social interventions like free SHS, it becomes a bit difficult to have more of these facilities, because you know that when people are going to the hospitals, the same government, after building a hospital for over $1 billion, the same government now have to pay for their health. So I'm not trying to justify anything for government. I'm just trying to say that these are some of the things that I'm quite certain has been considered. But that notwithstanding, health is very important. Education is very important. I agree with free SHS. I just think it should be by way of means testing, not a cross-board free SHS system. But the fact is that it has already been rolled out, and it will be difficult because of how we have political animosity in the country. Because of how we have this in the country, it's a bit difficult to, come back again on your word and say, let's do a means testing, simply because probably the minority have said same. You understand? And when it comes to health insurance, the GMA, for instance, are very upset. They've given timelines that they are going on strike. They'll withdraw OPD services. They'll do this, they'll do that, they'll do that. But all in all, it's important for the government that certain projects have started, and these projects need to be completed. Very important. They need to be completed. Then you're right, we get to the next step of finding funds for the health insurance, whether we are going to increase the NHIL to 3.5%. But even if we are going to increase it, right now Ghanaians are a bit upset that, in fact, the GMA, let's say GMA are a bit upset that certain funds are being used for things that they wouldn't expect they'll be used for. Certain, let's say, members of parliament are requesting, or ministers are requesting for some monies that the GMA feel should not even go there. So we need to look at all these things.
And I like that in the petition it says that poor health is a gross violation of the inherent right of the people to good health care, right? So they're talking about how we are violating the right of our people. and that we believe that the president has a sacred duty to ensure that the right thing is done. That is why we are calling for a direct action by the president to ensure that these matters are addressed by first ensuring that all identified facilities are operationalized forthwith, and second, institution a workable plan for emergency healthcare. So don't only make sure that they are functional, but also ensure that we have an emergency healthcare in the country, not just in Accra, but all of Ghana. So we are pleading with the president and everyone else in power that our health is important. It's the most vulnerable thing that can ever happen to us, and it can happen to any of us, whether you are the president or a TV host or a teacher. So let's prioritize it and give us a right to life, and that by giving us a good health care, you are giving us a direct right to life, which is our human right. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so that's how we are going to leave it. As at now, we're leaving the comments to you. Send us your opinions on same on with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and of course WhatsApp line 0550-585-832.
But good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. This is the last Monday of July.
It is?
You know, yes, it's like tomorrow is the last day of July.
Petition for another Monday.
Oh, stop it. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We are
July
your lovely
has been
hosts.
fun.
It has. I'm Jifa Ekia Ametam.
And I'm Isaac Kubo for Spencer. Stay tuned to Breakfast Daily.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. Whoa. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day. The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on CTTV. For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
International media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who's played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on CTTV.
Okay.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. We're just going to jump right into the news review, started with the Daily Graphic.
Okay. Well, the Daily Graphic is saying here this morning that Daily Graphic says Catholic bishops fight corruption. The full story of that is on page 3. You can see a beautiful picture here of the Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi. He is the bishop of the Secondary Diocese. Now, 16-page Greater Works supplement inside. Okay. UMB avets cyber attack is an interesting story. The full story is on page 26. You should take a read this morning. And also, victims of human trafficking get state shelter. And finally, President allays fears about double intake. The full story of that is on page 16. We'll be taking a look at the double intake story pretty shortly.
On to the Ghanaian Times. I'll stamp out Galamsey. President vows as he seeks to eradicate illegal mining in the country. That story is on page 16. Ameri deal amendment suspended. VRA staff ASAP's kick against it. Story on page 15. Prisoners' corpse seized for 1 year over outstanding medical bill. That story is on page 3. And I think that's about it for the Ghanaian Times.
The Chronicle says VRA staff explode over new Ameri deal as government varies suspicious $150 million kickback contract. Interesting. It's already been described as a kickback contract.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's sad.
That's an interesting word to use.
No turning back on free SHS. This is coming from the president. And also, my role in Woyom's saga, not triable. The former Attorney General speaks. Betimode Idrusu.
On to the Finder. CID stops 326 million Ghana cedi bank theft. Wow.
That was
how are people?
story.
That's some ambitious.
So what? According to the
those
report,
are some ambitious thieves.
According to the report, it's like no. They feel like if you are going to do it, you should do it big.
Wow.
So what happened is that there were like according to the report, so some Ghanaians and some Nigerians came together and they are apparently using information technology, IT, and programming and the likes to transfer funds from the UMB, from UMB to certain accounts.
And they knew what they were doing.
Who knew? These
people.
Oh yes, but that's what they.
Because when you think of theft, you're thinking maybe at most 100,000 cedis.
No. So they are just using the technology to transfer funds to individual accounts. So the CID was alerted. The Financial Crime Division of the CID, and
they made it work.
Yes, and they arrested. So if you are going to withdraw money, then they will just catch you.
Wow.
That's how they caught them.
And there were 12 of them. That's like a whole gang of people.
And the money is a lot. So
that is true. That's a lot of money for just 12 people, actually. That can feed a whole community. Okay, there's another story here. I think you read it already. Nothing will stop free SHS. That's coming from the president, and that story is on page 8.
That's a bold statement.
Yes. ASAP VRA senior staff kick against new Ameri deal. Save collapsing oil palm industry, producers to government. Now, this next story, I want to ask you about it because, of course, you've been through it. There's a story here that says law school questions and marking scheme leaked. What is this? Is this true? Does this happen, or is this the first time?
What happened was I don't have evidence of this happening. But what happened is that the next day, students went to write the exams on Friday, and the next day, the marking scheme was out. It's not very common for the marking scheme to be out.
Wow.
Immediately the next day. No, usually the marking scheme is even prepared before the questions are set. So they are set with the questions. But for the next day, immediately after the exam, for the marking scheme to be out there all over social media, it made people question whether, in fact, the marking scheme was there before the exams.
Wow.
You know, because this is even worse than the questions leaking. Because if the questions leak, the students will still have to figure out how to answer the question. But the marking scheme, exactly, it's telling you how to answer the question, detailed.
Will they have to rewrite it or?
As of now, the General Legal Council will have to decide on same.
Wow.
You know, because otherwise it would be unfair for, you know, the many who studied, you know, had their sleepless nights, and the law school can only admit just a particular number. You know, after Professor Kwaku Asari's case was thrown out.
I hope it has nothing to do with
all
of us.
His application was thrown out. His application for injunction was thrown out.
Well, if you have the marking scheme.
Now
we're all gonna get in. No, but it's wrong. It is wrong.
I mean, we should take a look at this. The IEB, which is now called IEC, the Independent Examination Board, was put in place to prevent things like this. Because there were, amongst others, there were indications that some of the questions were leaking. You know, the teachers were initially setting the questions, and it was like some of the questions were leaking and the like. So they set up an independent examination board. And now
we need to get an NAS in there to see what's
going on. Yeah, maybe. Anyone can be a NAS. Let's a NAS be a system and not a person. So Jifa, you can be a NAS.
You can be a you're a lawyer, so
I don't want to beat me. I don't want to beat me. Anyway, well, it's interesting, but I'm sure the General Legal Council, they usually know what they're doing, they know what they're about, and I trust they'll find a solution to this. Okay. Anyway, so do we have other stories on the front page of the Finder?
I saved the best for last.
The Daily Heritage says payroll audit in the Central Region, fake certificates uncovered as civil servants receive salaries, promotions through dubious means. So when I saw the story, the first thing that came into my mind, you know, the fake certificates uncovered in the Central Region. It means, for instance, certain teachers who may be teaching with fake certificates will have to be removed, will have to be fired.
How do you teach with a fake certificate?
Oh, no, Ghana, I can do it. Look at what happened.
The Senate.
Look at what happened with the Senate. A credible institution like Senate. A credible institution like Senate.
But we have to appreciate the
he was not even made a ground floor member. He was made a boss.
We're very creative. I think we just need to channel that creativity towards
the right way. Exactly. Let's do that. So the fake certificates uncovered.
Even Anthony was very creative with, you know,
the way he drafted it. Oh no, he's a lawyer.
I've never seen that before.
He's a lawyer of many years standing. He's a lawyer of many years. So fake certificates. So what struck me the first time was that there may be some teachers in here. Now the free SHS, we are planning to bring in 8,000 teachers. The question from many of the, especially from NAGRAT and the likes, where are you going to get these 8,000 teachers from? Do we have 8,000 people ready to teach? Yes, people who are qualified, blah blah blah, ready to teach. And also now we are probably going to even remove some of them because of fake certificates and the like. So these are really interesting times we are living in.
Yeah.
Mr. Arthur was a quintessential gentleman. This is coming from Government. The full story is on page 2. Interesting. The late former Vice President Kwesi Bekwai, Mr. Arthur, has his picture on the front page of the Daily Heritage. Really, really beautiful smile. May his soul rest in perfect peace once again. Politicians can unite. Methodist Bishop has this to say. And also, respect teachers. This is coming from Nat. Full story is on page 2 this morning of the Daily Heritage.
Okay, on to the Independent. There's just one headline. I will use education as a springboard to get Ghanaians out of poverty. That is coming from our president, and he says he will use education as a springboard to get us out of poverty. But didn't we already know this? That education is the way out of poverty.
No, but
I think we know. We just need to know the line, the timeline, or the what is the roadmap? Yes, to actually get out of the poverty, because it's like you are poor, and I'm like, you are poor. You know, like. We already know we are poor. We know we need education.
Education is
important. But how
do
we get the quality education that we need so that students are not failing the exams, right? I think it was how many students? Almost 200,000 students, right? So we really need, beyond just using education, we need to figure out how to give students quality education. They are well resourced. They can go home to Khan Academy and all these other extra resources that they can use to really pass their examinations and compete in this global world.
Yeah. So now let's take a look at the Herald. Says minister's husband accused of death threat. I don't even know why there'll be such a story. Now let's also, there's another story here. It says energy minister cooks kickback deal from a Mary, uses over $1 billion to settle $310 million deal. VRA and others angry. So there's a picture here slapped on the front page of the Herald where we can see, or according to the Herald, there's a picture here of Freddie Blay and Rashid Bawa in a meeting with Emeri officials in Dubai. And also Gabi laments presidential ambition and disloyalty in Akufo-Addo's government. And finally, case against Opuni takes nosedive.
In the Today newspaper, ISF Bank, now GN Bank, Ken Oforiatta over SHS comment. So that story is on page 3. And Deborah dumps Mahama for backbin. That's on page 3.
And finally, the new Crusading Guide. U.S. State of Nevada pledges to collaborate with Ghana. Full stories on page 6 of the new Crusading Guide. Akufo-Addo Japs motivated propagandist assures Ghanaians free SHS will be permanent feature of education. And Xylophone gives $1 million cedis to train Axim youth. Anyway, let's take a look at there's this other story. Interesting. It has been developing, especially through our last week. Marine close season will yield maximum benefits. Fisher folk backs government. Interesting. We shall go straight to our, introducing our guest for this morning. Is still the news review segment for today. Remember to join us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media networks or sites.
And the WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. We want to hear from you, so don't forget to reach out to us with the hashtag and the WhatsApp line.
Anyway, we've been joined in the studio by the NDC Greater Accra Regional Organizer, Anthony Nukpenu. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to you and your sister.
How are you?
By grace of God.
Good to see you again.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
You ran away.
Is this part of your science joke that we were talking about?
Anyway, we've also been joined by Kojo Akoto Boateng. Kojo Akoto is head of research at City FM and City TV. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast.
Good morning, Wilberforce.
And also host of Saturday Live.
Yes.
I always forget that, right? Very
How are you? I hope you had a great weekend.
The weekend was great. From funky and fresh,
of course,
to Saturday Live, to church on Sunday.
Amen.
To see you after church. It was a good weekend. It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll delve right into the first story, which is on citynewsroom.com. It says City FM Occupy Ghana petition Nana Addo over health crisis. I know you were one of the people who led this, so can you tell us a bit more about it and why it's important to petition the president?
We found it important to petition the president because for about a year now we've been talking about healthcare and raising attention on a lot of facilities that have been built and not being used, and facilities that are being built but have stalled, and emergency system in general. And for the past few months, one of the biggest national discussions has been the no-bed syndrome. So we found it necessary to petition the chief executive of the business called Ghana, the president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, to take a personal interest in the healthcare infrastructure and emergency response to deliver the goods to Ghana. Because per our analysis, the various hospitals and health facilities that have been constructed or are being constructed and have delayed could serve a population of about 4 million people and add about 20% extra beds to the hospital capacity. And a lot of these are rotting away, or they've unduly delayed and it's costing us more money, and we need action on this. And it's key that we petition the president, because if you look at how long some of these facilities have been abandoned, it doesn't make sense. For example, the maternity and pediatric block of Komfanoche, it was started in 1974. It's been over 40 years. It's still not done. 1,000 capacity. If it's done, it's going to add onto the capacity of Komfanoche Teaching Hospital to serve the Middle Belt and parts of the Northern Belt. It's not been done. If you go to Kumasi, there is the 250-bed Sewa Hospital, which, when completed, will become the Ashanti Regional Hospital. It's not been done yet. Construction is still ongoing and is delayed. There's a 500-bed military hospital at Afari, which has also not been done. There's a KNUST Teaching Hospital, 800 beds, which has been ongoing for the past 16 years. It's now been abandoned, taken over by weeds and rodents. It's not right. You come to Accra, there is a police hospital which has been under construction for 16 years. 16 solid years. The hospital has been under construction. It's not done. And we need more hospitals. We need more beds. You go to the Medina area, there is a Medina hospital under construction. You go to Tepa, Sewa, and Soko.
What is causing all of this? Is it unique to just hospitals, or are we just abandoning projects in general?
Well, a lot of, it's not just unique to hospitals. A lot of projects have been abandoned. Some projects are started, never completed. So by the time you want to get back on site to redo the project, you'd have to raise more funds. So you look, you see that project costs usually are up here in this country. Project costs are always up because we don't stick to proper project management practices, one. And sometimes, too, for political reasons, we get certain projects started when we know that we don't have the funding to ensure that we complete them. So we sink money in getting a project started to get votes. We don't complete them, and they end up becoming extra cost on the taxpayer. But we are looking at healthcare right now because it's one of the core areas of our national development. And a lot of people die unnecessary deaths because we've not done the right things. And most of these things could be prevented. So the petition is in two legs. One is on the infrastructure, completing the hospitals and operationalizing the ones which have been completed, like the Bank Hospital, which has been completed for about a year at cantonments, is sitting down. Nobody knows what the Bank of Ghana wants to do with it. We need to get it operationalized. And then number two, the other phase of our petition is for us to have an emergency response system. It doesn't make sense, once again, that in a country which is 60 years ago, a 70-year-old man would have an emergency and he'll be taken to 6-7 hospitals. He will travel from 2 a.m. and by 6 a.m. he's gone and nobody is able to give him care. When he's been to Kolebu, which is the premier hospital, when he's been to 37 Military Hospital, which is a UN level 4 medical facility. In the UN system, if you're a level 4 medical facility, it means you are the highest amongst the medical facilities. So UN level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And we still couldn't save his life. Gone to the police hospital, the Trust Hospital, the Lekma Hospital. So we need an emergency response put in place such that we have a command center that gets data from all the hospitals as to availability of beds, that gets data from all the hospitals as to availability of personnel. We need an ambulance service which is well tooled. 55 ambulances for Ghana is not enough. We need more. We need to train our paramedics such that they can give people treatment once they are in transit. We also need a law to outlaw the "we can't admit you" syndrome, where people are transferred to hospitals because of emergencies, and one, they don't have money. Two, the hospital says, "We cannot admit you because there is no bed," so you turn the person away. And whilst the person goes to another facility, the emergency gets worse and we lose lives. We want that to be outlawed. We want more ambulances. We need an emergency response system. We need doctors and patients to be trained such that when a patient is brought to the hospital under emergency, some level of care will be given to the person to stabilize the person. We need a proper public education campaign undertaken such that everybody would know what conditions are emergency, so that once we engage the populace, nobody will take a simple headache to the hospital as an emergency to go and give the emergency unit undue stress. The triaging system, we want it to be well defined such that we can do proper triaging. And we want the hospital to be stocked. Sometimes you go to a hospital and basic medication are not there, basic consumables are not there, so they cannot save your life. We want all those things done. So we've sent a petition with 11 suggestions to the President of the Republic of Ghana to take immediate action on to ensure that the Ghanaian life is given some more value and some respect. That's basically what the petition is about.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll go to Anthony to, really briefly say his views about the petition sent by City FM and, of course, Occupy Ghana to the President in respect of these health facilities before we move on to our next story for today.
Yes, and before you even answer, I have a question. This isn't unique to this government, right? So since independence someone will start...
No, this isn't unique. So if you look at some of the projects, let me give you an example. The Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, Kumasi, the... maternal and pediatric block. It was started in 1974. It was meant to serve the middle belt and parts of northern Ghana. Now, this facility has 1,000 beds, so maternity and pediatrics. It's not been done. It's 1974. It predates this government. It predates the previous government.
Let me ask our guest the question of why are we starting projects and not completing them, especially when it comes to health, right? And the second question I want to ask is, everything Kojo has mentioned, although they are very important, they're also capital intensive. Talking about machinery, you have to employ the right people. Why don't we have all this in mind when we are building these facilities to ensure that we have all these things in place? You don't build something if you can't complete it. Why has that not been embedded in the Ghanaian history of developing projects and construction?
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to your cherished viewers. I believe the petitioners are concerned Ghanaians. They are alarmed with the situation to which our health care delivery is going. And we are all concerned because it's pathetic when you hear day in day out people die out of negligence of duty from other health providers, or we not providing the right resources or the environment for people to get health care. And over the years, governments upon governments, we've all paid lip service to the kind of health infrastructure that we have provided. I know some have, like when you come to my district, we as a district, all we can do is to provide the physical infrastructure, but up to the health directorate or Ghana Health Service to look for the health equipment to fix in. But when it goes there, they will say, oh, we don't have the budget. So you see a whole community for about 5,000 people, and there's not even a first aid health facility for them. So they will travel through traffic to maybe General Hospital or Accra to get health care. By the time they get there, people are already off. So it tells all of us that we need to look at our fundamentals right. All borders on planning. How have we planned this country over the years? We've all sat and looked at people dissipating land anyhow to developers. All of us buy land, we don't even look at whether there are road networks, whether there are basic amenities there. So when the place gets developed, then we are all now concerned with the very things that we need to have before we go and settle there. Healthcare is not there, educational facilities are not there. And government will go for facilities. Like when you look around, most of these Eurojet projects, we've gone for facilities. But these projects must be completed within a time frame. When you don't do it, the money depreciates, so the project stalls. When a new government comes, we have this syndrome today, so-called money for value for money audit, which will take you more than 1 year. So the project stalls. And I believe as people, we don't have to just be looking at our political gain because we've promised A, B, C, D, and then renege on what is already in the system. That is what happens. I promised this. So if I have to commit money in completing my predecessor's project, I will not fulfill my campaign promise. Therefore, I have to embark on new one and then abandon what it is. It's up to we Ghanaians to really hold our governments to check. Now look, if at the end of the day, you are coming back to me to campaign, and this is not completed, we don't even have to even pay attention to you by even going to our rallies. But do we understand these things as Ghanaians? So the two political parties, NDC and PP, for some time now, we've taken Ghanaians for a ride. That we use the electorate for only election purposes. At the end of the day, the very thing that we need to do for confidence to be in the country is not there. I look at health in so many ways. when we have the facilities seated there and we have the manpower, the human resource there to manage it, how do we Ghanaians themselves take our health serious? The preventive measures. Look at our environments. What do we do? Today, that communal spirit that gets us to clean our environment is not there because someone will tell you, I've paid tax, therefore government must come to clean my environment. You call communal, I'm an assembly member. You call communal labor, and people will tell you, why do you call us to come and clean our environment when the government has to do it? So we need to do some kind of education to change our own attitude.
I want to wrap you up on the point of education because we'll go for a quick commercial break. And could you, of course, thank you very much.
Yes, so we believe that it's imperative that we all join this petition. We need every Ghanaian to know that this petition is a petition for all of us. We need to start asking our MPs, our ministers, our assemblies, the hard questions. These hospitals are not just in Accra, they are all over the country. Almost every region has a hospital situated in there. And we're also talking about CHIPS compounds, the community health planning compounds, which are supposed to be primary healthcare facilities, which are dotted all over the country. For those ones, there are hundreds of them which have been started and abandoned. There are some of them which are done and not being used, and there are new ones which are going to be done. We need every Ghanaian to join this fight, keep the information flowing. If there's a facility in your vicinity which has been done or which has stalled, let us know, let the media know, so that we keep fighting. Because look, health is wealth. And until we get together to push for these things to be done, it will be cost that we are paying for, which is not serving us any need. And we must do this together and fight this together.
Thank you very much, Kojo Akoto-Boateng. He's the head of research right here at City FM and City TV. Thank you very much.
And for joining us for the first half. The second half of the news review, we will have Richard Ahiagba, who is the communications director of NPP in Chicago, USA branch. So you don't want to miss this. Remember, join the conversation with the hashtag BreakfastDaily in the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. Stay tuned to Breakfast Daily.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day. The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Good morning. Thank you again for staying with us. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV, and we are in our news review. Before the break, we were discussing the
Occupy Ghana City FM petition.
The petition that we've sent to the president to do something about our health sector, and we're going to move right into the Ameri deal. But first, let's introduce our guest.
Yes, we have been joined by Richard Ahiagba. He's the communications director for the NPP in Chicago. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
General Secretary.
Yes, he's aspiring for the general secretary position for the entire U.S. wing of the NPP.
In Ghana.
In Ghana. The
yes.
U.S. wing in Ghana.
Yes, already did, yeah.
He was on his fine.
Aspirant to the General Secretary race.
Oh, okay.
Why do you want to over-introduce our guest? You want to sit here, we sit here.
But you're also going for office come this election. Yeah. The primaries. Yeah, I'm going for office. Are you still going for regional organizer?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to maintain your seat?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
I think he mentioned this when you mentioned his.
You wanted to add that one. Very important. Anyway.
So we're just going to delve right into our next topic, which is ASEP VRA senior staff kick against new Ameri deal. So the story in the Finder, I'm reading from page 5, says the Africa Center for Energy Policy and senior staff of the Volta River Authority have declared their opposition to the new arrangement on the controversial Africa and Middle East Resource Investment Group's Ameri Energy Power Plant, which is currently before Parliament. The Senior Staff Association and the Public Service Worker Union and the VRA have said that the new deal will bring more hardship to the good people of our dear country, Ghana. So I'll say that again. The Senior Staff Association and the Public Service Workers Union and the VRA have said that the new deal will bring more hardship to the good people of our dear country, Ghana. And I'll read a quick quote here. In less than 2.5 years, the Ameri plant will become a free asset to the nation under the build, own, operate, and transfer arrangement. And therefore, there is no need for another arrangement that would extend ownership to any other third-party interest. That's coming. The proposed more expensive than the current arrangement and does not make any financial and economic sense to the nation. The nation has surplus generation capacity and does not require any new long-term payment arrangement, more so when it is inimical to the interest of the nation. So the previous deal was $510 million and it was signed in 2015. We just have about 2.5 years of that to go, but we want to sign a new deal that would cost $1.3 billion for 18 years. Let's
start with Richard. Since it just came. Richard, is there any justification for this deal? ASEP has criticized it. IES has criticized this. VRA clearly are criticizing this. The staff and workers of VRA, the minority, almost everyone is criticizing this. Is there any reason why government decides to renegotiate this deal to cost more?
Well, first of all, thank you and good morning to your viewers. Sorry I walked in a bit late. It won't happen again. Yes, we are at the point where we're interrogating the deal. We're negotiating to see if we'll find a better option. So it's rightly before Parliament. They will interrogate it, so they come up with whatever conclusion they think is in the best interest of Ghana. So at this point, yes, we should encourage everybody who has something to say about it to say now before it's too late. But if you ask me, what people are not saying is that there is a reduction in cost, okay, in terms of utility costs, there's a reduction.
From 14 to 11.
To 11, so there's about 2 to 3 cent reduction. That is being worked to raking about 27 million a year in terms of savings. And so cumulatively over the 15-year period of the deal, if this in its current form goes through, then it will be close to about 400 billion or a little over 400 million savings that is brought in. So that's, for me, significant. Now, the negotiation, I'm not sure if people are looking at the deal in terms of sustaining what we've got now. We have almost a steady supply of power. Now, if in the interim, we are going to be doing certain things to position ourselves so we don't go back to the old days where we lose power and all of that stuff, then we need some room between now, I think about 2.5 years to the end of the current arrangement with Ameri. So you need some room to be able to prepare and build capacity before that 10-year comes. Now, when it transferred to us, do we have the capacity? Can we manage it in that sense? So these are things that you will look at and say that, okay, well, instead of continuing with the deal that all of us agree now that is reasonably expensive, okay, it's
the 510.
The 510 being overpriced close to about 150 million. That there's no dispute about that.
And that's still cheaper than the almost one.
No, I'm saying. Million. So you see, we haven't implemented anything yet. So let's
look.
What's
wrong with the current one?
The current one, obviously, it's a general understanding that it's been overpriced. Okay, there's 150 million there that we know that is inflated by that amount. So that is understood.
Yes, but beyond the price, is it doing what it's supposed to do? Are we getting value for our money?
Well, that's you can get value for money, but if you're paying too much for it, is that necessarily value?
But we're about to pay 1.1 billion.
No, you see, so what we're talking about now is we are negotiating a deal.
Yeah, but
there's a process that has to go through. We're going to put it, or it's before Parliament. They discussed it yesterday. I think on Saturday they didn't conclude it. It went on recess. So we are not imposing anything on Ghana. Wait, 1 second. I know where you're coming from. We're not imposing anything, but we have gone to a negotiating table and we'll come up with certain arrangements to say that, okay, the current arrangement before we expire, the continuous payment of 150 million that we agree is not okay. We have come up with that understanding to say that, okay, well, we would extend the agreement with this a new company, a new management company, okay, and that will bring the cost per unit. Yes, the cost. Yes, miscellaneous. The cost per unit, cost per unit or kilowatt unit or whatever the unit measurement is
per kilowatt hour.
Per kilowatt hour, down to about 2.8 or 2.9 cents. Okay, and based on that, we're going to extend the agreement to about 15 years. Now, mind you, that the room there, that the importance of that is that now we have 15 years, okay, or additional more or less 12 and a half years, where we can predictably say that we're going to be able to have steady supply of power. Till the point where this agreement expires, we would have had ourselves in a position where we now can do our own energy supply in a way that we don't need any other third party that we've had. So this here is not a finished product.
Okay.
It is before the legal and the structural, institutions to interrogate it. Now, the outcome of it will be a collective product. Okay. So if you are looking this in this very raw form, vis-a-vis what was done, and we know it's unsatisfactory. If you're looking at it, then you're looking at two different things, oranges and apples. Because this is not yet finished in terms of its analysis and assessment. That's why I welcome the criticisms that we're experiencing now, because that is supposed to be the process. And we invite everyone to share their views as well as yourself and yourself. So that in the end, whatever we own it. Whatever comes out of it, we own it as a process. And as a people, we agree. What we agreed to before 510, okay, was also a collective product, but then that was totally unacceptable. It's inflicted. So we don't want that to happen. That's why we encourage everybody to interrogate it.
So I think the confusion is, let me just, because for the benefit of our viewers at home, people are confused that on the one hand, we said Ameri is expensive at the 510, but after 5 years, we will own it as a nation, right? It will belong to us and we will run it ourselves. So if you're saying it's inflated, you would assume that the price on the negotiating table will be somewhere around 300 million, right? So that bit is confusing, where you can on the one hand say this price is expensive, but then we are almost doubling this price and extending the number of years.
We're not almost doubling. We've almost tripled.
We've almost tripled.
No, it's true. We are paying close to $1.3 billion on same.
So it doesn't. I'm not, because it's like your mom is giving you 35 cedis, but somebody, she ends up, you end up telling her that it costs 50 cedis. I think a lot of us did as well in school, where a book costs 35 cedis, but you tell your parents it's 50 cedis, and then your brother says, this 50 cedis expensive, but then the same brother goes to your mom and says the book is 100 cedis, and you're a little bit lost. I mean, this is a very wrong analogy to use, but I'm trying to understand what's going on.
The justification from government, and as you did say, Richard, is that we are going to be paying less, from $14 per kilowatt hour to about $11 per kilowatt hour.
11 cents.
But, yes, but 11 cents per kilowatt hour. But we need to recognize also
18
that
years.
Yes, and we need to recognize that once this facility, this plant becomes ours, it becomes, we can decide, once it's ours, we can even decide to charge 10 or 9. So why then should we use that as justification for paying the long term? Anyway, we've got
Let me explain that a little bit, because she made a point that I think is relevant. You see, what are you saying? That when it becomes ours, then we have the leverage all of a sudden to reduce the price?
Because we are collecting an amount to pay for what we owe. We owe a Mary, so we are collecting these tariffs, and we're using portions of this tariff to pay for the facility.
Exactly. But see, don't forget that if it becomes ours, the cost of production and all of those costs will not disappear just because it becomes ours.
But it will certainly not be up to $1 billion.
Mind you also, well, in this country, when our own Volta Lake or whatever the dam we had, was run down, whatever associated with that. So really, the risk of you being in a situation where you go back to a situation based on mismanagement is high. So what you are doing is, like I was saying, you are insuring against a temporal or almost an immediate step back into what you came from.
I think Ghanaians would mismanage
exactly.
Is that what you're saying? That Ghana would mismanage
I'm just talking about precedent, what we have seen before, the tendency. Okay, so you are insuring against that. So you are building over time an institutional capacity that will allow us to now be able to do this right. Now, you see, when you're looking at 5 years,
I want him to come in.
A number together for her. We're talking about almost 1.3 billion, right, over 15 years. Okay. Yes. Now, if you add up 5 year terms with the current agreement that we have, it's more than 1.3 billion. So you can see the obvious savings there. So you see, the point I'm trying to make is this. This is something we are putting in public domain. You and I were interrogating. At the end of the day, we'll decide if it's good or not. If it's not good, then we'll go back to what we have. Whether or not that will serve our interest is one thing. But what we have done is to bring forward something that you can see the numbers for what they are is less.
Thank you very much,
and extended the period.
Thank you, Richard. That's your time.
Thank you very much.
Tony?
Well, it's pathetic. I can understand how my brother is struggling this morning, because he himself, I don't think he has a full briefing. Well, the analysis you just made is just quite simple, that I come home to tell my mom, I want this book for 50 Ghana cedis. Then you come in and say, Mom, that book is 100 Ghana. After you have accused me behind doors that this book is not supposed to cost 50 Ghana, it's supposed to 30 Ghana. But you go behind and do ABCD and get your share and come and give me the 50 Ghana. See how we are all robbing each other. Because if the NPP still insists that the $510 million deal is stinking and it's fraud, where up to now you're not taking bold steps to make sure you hold whoever has inflated the $150 million to check. And we still sit down and you continue to make this analysis. And I find it so weird. Because, and again, it's unfair to say VRA has ever been run down. That is not a fact. What we had in the past is a natural situation. You are being, your machine is being powered by water. And if activities on the Volta Lake has now made the water not flowing to the maximum that it used to, do you go and say managers of VRA has caused that to happen? So it is not true. Again, to say if this machine by the next 2.5 years is handed over to VRA, the possibility of it being mismanaged, please don't go there. When you are clueless in management of this country, admit it. And that is the situation we find ourselves. Ghana today is in a clueless state. Because there is no point even government being led by Ken Oforiatta and Boakye Jakun to even have this deal through cabinet to parliament. When I heard it, I was so shocked. And I asked myself, where is Katie Hammond? The man who was raising every red flag. So it tells you and I that today, our life is going to be very, very hard if this go through. Because if you accused the NDC of giving a deal to Ameri, and Ameri is giving the deal to a second, third party at $350 million. And then today, what we are hearing is that that same third party is now also going for another partner and pay that partner $70 million every year. So multiply $70 million by the number of extension year. Where are we going? That is why I think the committee or parliament is demanding for certain documentations. But I believe if VRA has spoken, those who are beneficiaries of the facility to manage on behalf of the people of Ghana, ASEP, which is an arm, a civil society organization arm of the NPP.
They are not of the NPP.
Oh, what?
Let's just say civil society. Let's just move on. Let's just move on. Please, let's just move on. Let's stick to topic. Let's stick to topic.
If all these groups are coming out to advise government, and look, where you are heading towards, you are just going to shut in the country. So please withdraw from this deal. I believe, in fairness, they must listen to it and not even proceed to parliament. Because we know, at the end of the day, majority of the parliamentarians are from where? MPP. When they whip them in line, because cabinet has okayed the agreement, you whip your people in line and then you approve it. Where lies our faith? So we are just begging the MPP that please, what you promised Ghanaians, that you were even going to abrogate Ameri. That was it. What new have you found in Ameri today that is so enticing that you want to renegotiate and extend?
They said they were going to review the Ameri agreement, not to abrogate. They said they were going to review the agreement because abrogating it will cause judgment debt. But I want us to move on to another story in respect of doctors threatening to strike from August 6th. So GMA have come out with certain deadlines, you know, from August 6th. This is what they intend to do to withdraw OPD services, amongst others. So I'll start with you on this one, Richard.
I'm going to move painfully to this new topic because there was some clarifications that needed to
but we need to move on.
But certainly, I will move on. But the point I want to make in sum total is that this is not a deal yet. It's being interrogated. It's being investigated.
It was intended to be a deal. Let's not leave it to Parliament.
No.
Has cabinet okayed it?
Yes.
No.
Let's move on. Richard, let's move on.
Don't do that.
So please. It's not a deal. We understood. We're bringing Parliament. Parliament will have its say, and before it becomes a deal. That's how we are doing it. That's how democracy is supposed to work. So thank you. I understand that. It's not a deal that is done. Now, you see, the doctors, this is almost a problem that has happened, you know, successively in different governments. It is a question of ability to pay. Okay. Our resource is stretched to a limit. If we look from 1960, the last time, 1960, as a baseline, our GDP then was about 1.2 billion, 1.22 billion. Since then, now our GDP now is about 47 point something billion. We haven't grown at the way we're supposed to grow to be able to accommodate our increasing demand. So this here is an issue with the budget, it's an issue with resource, and I don't think that this is something that we need to politicize, but I have every confidence that within the window estimated that government will be able to sit and meet the demand for these doctors. It's essential. We need health, but this issue is for us as a country, our ability to pay. And we're going to do all it takes to be able to meet that demand. But all of us must begin to think about ways. And in fact, when we're talking about governance, this government is doing all within its power to expand our capacity and ability to pay by trying to expand.
But some of the concerns of these doctors was the association, the GMA, is that, you know what, they know that ministers, they mentioned the procurement minister, is, you know, applying for certain funds, $8,500 to be made to her for foreign travels, for some form of training. Yes, and also they're also aware that huge sums of monies were paid to MPP communicators.
62,000.
About 62,000 cedis paid to MPP communicators in respect of same. So they are concerned about how health monies are being used when same should be used to focus on health.
You know, it's very unfortunate that professionals will be delving into politics the way they are. No. I'm being very careful. I'm being very careful. Yes, I'm being very careful. There are a lot of waste in our system that it can point to. I am an MPP person. I have not seen and where that amount was paid to any MPP communicator. So I don't know where they got that from.
No, NHIA has not denied this.
Well, what it says
this
is that
factual.
they spent 62,000 on some communicators to sensitize Ghanaians on NHIS. So I think from the perspective of the doctors...
this is factual. This is not an allegation.
What I heard from you, I heard it said MPP communicators. That's what I heard.
Government communicators, okay. if that makes it better.
Okay, so those are government people, so not MPP. That's why I said politics. All right.
Now, so it's not from them. Yes. It's supposed to be government communicators.
Exactly.
So we're sorry for that error.
Yes. So to the extent that they are paying those monies to people, to do what? To sensitize people. Is it relevant? That's a question we should ask. Yes. Is it relevant that they do that communication? That's for all of us to decide. And they, as doctors, or healthcare providers, understand the extent to which that education is relevant to what they do. So for me,
they wouldn't be complaining if they understood. So let's not assume they understood.
Well, you have to understand to what extent is that education sensitization necessary or not. So that's a judgment issue there. I'm not questioning whether or not they are trying to understand or not to understand. That's why I shudder to add politics in that. Look, I can sit here and you and I go through a list of waste that I will advocate for. If they mention those, I'll stand with them to have us removed. Ministers should not get all the fringe benefits that they're getting. I have a teacher that is being paid 800 or 1,000. That teacher is supposed to provide everything a human being should provide for themselves and their family by, out of that 800. Yeah. I have a minister that is paid that amount of money.
Just to go for training. And
exactly. And then he gets salary, he gets free this, free that, free this, free that. As a country, we need to sit down and say, objectively, that is not okay. That is more or less colonial benefits. Mentality. Okay? This country is for that minister and for me. So if we're building our own country, we cannot tax our people that much to be able to do the job of serving our country. It takes away the work from service to more or less something else. So I understand that. So mention those things. But when you get into these other soft areas where it seems to me you're just trying to nitpick, then for me I have a problem. But the truth of the matter is that we need to pay them. Okay? And whatever I raise that I owe them, government will do their best to pay that. And I believe this government will do that, which we have done in many cases. So let's not trivialize or move in areas where it is outside of our professional, capability. Well, let's make the case clear that we are owed some money. Let's that money be paid. And I believe that government will make that payment to them. Okay. But let's not get into those.
So you agree with the doctors that they should be paid?
Of course. I think government understands that, and it will be done. If it's an arrears legitimately owed them, that should be paid.
Thank you very much. It will be paid. Tony.
Well, I just want to know, my brother Richard, whether he speaks for government or MPP. That is one, so that he can tell us who is a government spokesperson and who is a party spokesperson. Because he sits here and defends the government policies and direction as a party man. If he, perchance, was not part of that training, that money that was taken from NHIS to train their people to go and say whatever it is, he should say, I wasn't part. But those young men and women who were trained were MPP guys to defend government policy and program on NHIS, which the doctors are saying it is a misplaced priority, which you must admit. So you don't say they are trivial when they make reference to such money that have been just used anyhow, and your minister going to apply for a scholarship from a fund that is not taking care of his core needs to go and have a training in abroad, a sitting minister. These are shameful acts that you people should admit to. We should not be getting into these kind of things. The doctor's claim is legitimate. And these were some of the things you stood on as a party in opposition against the previous administration. So they expect that coming into government, you don't renege on some of these responsibilities. You promise them that you will never make them poor when you come to government. You always be up to your game and make sure the allowances, what is entitled them, are paid. So if today, from 2017, they've been calling the attention of government and say, look, we must be giving this, we must be giving that. From November, you've promised and promised, and as of now, it's like the minister is adamant, the government is adamant. And they are up there and they are saying, look, if this is not met at this time, we are laying down our tools. And you know, anytime essential service providers lay down their tools, the kind of hardship the country goes through. Even they being at post today, look at our health delivery system. Look at the emergency system that we are having, where people are just dying anyhow. So we are all alarmed if that alarm bell is being sounded. And we should have a compassionate posture, not to come and sit here this one and say they are delving into trivial issues, they are not trying to be real. They are real, because government wastage is too much. You sit in this country, the amount of money that goes down the drain in this current administration is mind-boggling. And these are not the things you told Ghanaians. Therefore, I can sympathize with you because you just returned from the diaspora and you're in the country. So you don't have the core issues that challenge our people in the various areas.
I think he should know even if the diaspora.
Look,
I don't think
Richard's first time of touring the country was when he was.
But that's not what we're discussing now.
Let's not go into personal.
No, it's not personal.
You tend to move from the point.
Okay, but I want you to wrap up on that point, because we need to talk about the free SHS. Yeah. The president seeks to defend the free SHS. So if we can do that.
Well, the first time I heard it's Napo said shift system. Then they said, okay, let's change the shift system because to confuse Ghanaians. So let's use a jargon, double track. And that is where we are today. You ask everybody, and they have their own understanding to it. The only person who tried to convince me a little bit was the deputy minister, Chum, or so. And I believe because of his training in America, so he has some understanding. But
can we focus on the issues?
Oh, yes. Yes. This is the same thing I'm talking about. But see, when you are trying to tell me that this has been priced in America, Japan, Canada, and it is doable, it is workable.
Well, mention Kenya also.
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning Kenya.
Because Kenya has been done there too.
It is not.
Yes.
Go and study what they are doing.
It is been that place.
It is not equitable.
Come on.
It's just because the fundamentals that support the education systems are there. You have the infrastructure. You have the transport system. You have the teacher to student ratio. You have what motivates teachers to give quality tuition. You have the TLM available. Do we have them here? So for me, you cannot just say it's workable in these countries, so you want to do a trial lock. You rush into implementing a policy that we all know the fundamentals will not support. My position from day one is that free SHS should go progressively and target. We have the deprived and needy people who need government support in getting education. And that is the position the finance minister espoused. Today, he has come home to understand that I'm the exchequer. The amount of money that we need to make sure we have the quality tuition from his child or grandchildren to go for Ghana's free SHS is not there. Therefore, he will not subject his child to this kind of education system we have, which I have also alluded to that as a man responsible, when you have children, you should at least do well to make sure you support. There are people, the orphans, the other people who just give birth anyhow without having any planning. They need some of these things. So for me, if government will sit and say, look, let's target and make sure those who are ready and capable of supporting their children in school should continue. We should look at those who don't have, and we need to give everybody education. Let's go for that angle. This education system today is every child in school. Is every child a Ghanaian child that is supposed to go to school in school? No. Therefore, we still have a backlog of children that are not in school, and we have to look at how do we get them in school. They've written their BEC, some have good grades, but still, with free SHS, they are still at home. So for me, I think government is degrading our educational system just in the name of education, everybody goes to school. But when they come out, what is the aftermath effect? We have thousands of Ghanaian graduates on the streets today. Are they not having education? Has it changed their life? Are they not still in poverty situation? Today, the very businesses that need to accommodate or employ them, they are even downsizing their setups. Go to the banks, everybody is retrenching. The media outlets, everybody is retrenching. Everywhere in every sector of the economy is laying off people. And you sit here and tell me you use free SHS to be a springboard for a so-called eradication of poverty, when you are not supporting the fundamentals that will give quality for the child to go to school and come out and say, look, I have had this training and I know what I am up to and I'm going here and this is what I want to do to elevate myself out of poverty. I think this NDP government is too
clueless. I also think that it's a bit far to just equate education to just a job, like especially in a generation where we have entrepreneurs.
I'm not talking about
so
that.
You can still get the basic. Okay, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about you having that training and understanding that this training, I have to stand on it to elevate myself. Is it there? Many Ghanaian young men and women go to school today, and all they think is, when I come, somebody should employ me. We need to change from that.
But we have entrepreneurs now, and we have NEIP to assist them with their work. But on to you, Mr. Richard. So the president said briefly I'm reading from the New Crusading Guide, and I'm on page 3. The president said that in 2018-2019 academic year, which begins in September, 472,000 students will be added to the current bunch of students, but we're only adding 8,000 teachers. So what's the quality of this free education the students will be provided, right? If you have over 400,000 students being admitted and just 8,000 teachers being added.
And there's been questions being asked also, where you're going to get these 8,000 teachers from?
Okay. Well, you see, let's use basic deductive reasoning to understand what we are faced here. Okay. All of us know education is a development necessity. Therefore, we need to educate our population. That's the logic. Okay, education is important. We have to educate our people. Now you ask the question, progressive at the cost of people staying at home. Since 2017, when this program was implemented, about 90,000 students who otherwise will be staying home pending progressive implementation had gone into school. Coming September, about 181 of those will be added. Pending progressive implementation, they'll be sitting at home. Now, let me take your mind back. We started talking about free SHS in 2008, okay? And we got into power 2016. Let's go back there and see progressively, every year, 90,000 students haven't gotten a chance to get into school. Okay, if free SHS were operational since then, 90,000 every term didn't get into school. Now you tell me that it's convenient for me to sit on this couch and say, oh, fundamentals, oh this, oh that. The logic here is that we need our people to be educated. And I like what your intervention there. Education is not equal to employment. And the education at the level we're talking about is a necessity. It ties into our literacy rate as a country. Okay, so when we are doing these things, and I wonder sometimes when I hear social democrats talk about education in this light, I wonder if they know exactly what they believe in, or they are redefining that as they go.
I think it's unfair to create the notion as if they are not supporting free education. No, they just want it to be targeted. That's all they're saying. That's
I just give you an analysis. Since 2008, targeting at whose cost? We've been targeting education in this country. Let's not create that impression that we're now going to try targeting. We've been targeting free education in this country since Nkrumah's time. How many years more do you need to target? Are you aware of that targeting already?
Through scholarships.
Huh?
Through scholarships?
Through free education. We've been doing that already. We've targeted. The thing about it is that whose contribution is being used to target who?
But I think
you understand? The question we're looking at here is this. We want to educate our people. We have children who want to get into school. Okay? Now, there is no, you are making a point. I hope they agree that they believe free SHS is a good thing. If they believe that, then let's move from that premise. They are not disputing that's a good thing. So we're moving on from there. So what we're looking at here is the funding of it.
Or even the gradual implementation. Because let me quote something to you. Earlier, actually, July 16th, City Newsroom brought out a story that over 190,000 SHS graduates will miss going to university because they failed mathematics, right? Which is important. So if without free SHS, and all of us went to primary school in Ghana, where you have to bring a school duster, you have to bring your own chair, bring your own this. So what's the quality, right? And it's great to say free for all, but what are they getting, right? How do we ensure that you're getting free, but you're still able to compete globally? Because if you can't even compete in Ghana when you graduate because there's overcrowding and all these other issues, what are we grooming for the future generation when over 190,000 students can't even get into university?
You see, that's a very slippery argument you're making. That was the same logic that was used to deny the girl child education. Because,
really?
Well, yes, because see, what it is as a convenience argument to say that, even if he goes to school, what is he going to do?
No, it's not quality versus quantity.
Forget about
that's different from
But how
gender.
do you know you're going to get quality or not if you don't invest in the process?
If you have over 400,000 students added and just 8,000 teachers, how do you measure the quality?
What I'm saying to you is the same logic. So what should we do? Not do it?
No, I'm asking you, what do we do?
So I'm trying to let you understand that all those ancillary arguments will always remain if you take anything. Take any subject. Now let's see if you cannot make the same argument.
Okay.
Take any subject. Okay? Since when did you start your TV station? Why didn't you start it many years ago? You understand?
Because they planned.
You understand? Wait. You see, so the point of it is that
put up the setup.
You see, the point of it is that you're never going to have a perfect situation in life. You understand? So that my father and my mother, when I was going to SSS, didn't have the money, but I had finished school and they wanted me to go. So sometimes they have to sell this, they have to do that, they have to do that to get you to school. Please, you give me enough time. So let me get to the point. You give me enough time.
Gotten enough time.
No, I was checking. So the point is this. It's a necessity. We must invest in it. And the truth of the matter is that the seeming application or invitation for us to do progressive implementation is denying some Ghanaians the chance to get into it. We are getting into a situation where we want to do what it takes to educate our people. What I invite others to do in thinking or in line with their philosophy of social democracy is to give us and to support a process they believe is good for Ghana, and let's move it forward.
If I need to sell my belongings to give my child quality education, I have
Less
to
than a minute.
or say Kufuor's mother sold his clothes to buy boots for the child to play football. Today, that family's fortunes have turned. So every parent should be responsible in the upkeep of his children. Let's not do this as if we are giving some form of education when the child's future is bled.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, interesting contributions coming from our guests, but still questions remain in respect of the free SHS, for instance, whether they are going to be two headmasters or headmistresses in the system.
That's clear. There's going to be.
But I will say that
the housing facility
thing was girls got quality education. So let's not, and even Nkrumah gave quality education. So let's not discount quality.
So there are more questions. Nagrat is concerned. Let's just leave it as it is.
You see, you do just want to leave it. The system is okay.
But we will be getting quality education with SHS.
Absolutely. That is monitoring and evaluation. That is not the policy. That is monitoring and evaluation.
So we're joined by Richard Ahiagba. He's the communications director for NPP Chicago branch in the U.S. And of course, we're also joined by Anthony Nukpenu. He is the NDC Greater Accra Regional Organizer. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you for having us.
And you at home for joining us for this segment. Remember to
you alone try the tea.
There's tea for everyone.
Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 050-535-832. So join us and I'm serving you tea so you can drink your tea. Up next, we're going to learn about moving past the dark days. So we're going to talk about divorce and what happens after couples separate. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day. The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi, everyone. It's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe. Swag.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Yeah.
It's Mr. J. Wano.
What up? Yeah.
True life stories.
Yeah. This is everything I want, what a pain. Standing in the sun, but I'm feeling rain. They tell me how to go, but I feel the same. Fame drawing close, but I swear to God I'll never change. They say they hustle real and they feel my vision, but nobody gon' help me, left me on my mission. Alone with my God and these words I've written, and they gift to make them rhyme so the world will listen. I turn my passion to a job cause I'm a chop, but money no be issue when I reach the top. And this is for the passion, I will never stop. So passion over waste money anytime, make I work sharp. They like my skills, make no doubt all the righteous wills. Speak on the truth for this mic so chill, keep to the roots of the pace of real. My God and my stories, what they gotta feel. My word is my weapon, and believe it, it's my time to kill. What?
I'm on my grounds like the soldier, so the enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 my name was so. I'm on my grounds like the soldier, and the enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 my name was so.
The time where I to sell my CDs. They say I no go fit to make them.
That's right.
But now they see me on the TV. Look at all the love they try to fake up. I made it way before the Lord will come and take up. You hate it, even then the devil try to wake up. The Lord is my strength, with those words I will shake up. I do this for my fans and the people that go wait up. The best, the greatest, invincible, we made it. From ridicule to majors to the pinnacle of favors. My life is a testament for those who got a dream. And God keep on blessing it, the captain on my team. So I know it, treat my little hustle like it's time for war. And God got my back like a spinal cord. No man, no devil go fi stop me. I stand in this way, time to fight like I'm Rocky. What up?
I'm on my ground slide, it's soldier. So the enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 Shamia. My name was so. I'm on my ground slide, it's soldier. The enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 Shamia. My name was so. I'm on my ground slide, it's soldier. So the enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 Shamia. My name was so. I'm on my ground slide, it's soldier. The enemy go tire. He said, Shamia, 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 Shamia. My name was so.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on CTTV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily, and that was 1-0, telling us that God has blessed us with Shamia. And there's a line in there which says God got my back like a spinal cord.
Yeah, spinal cord.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget that there's someone looking over us. But we're going to delve right into the next topic, which is moving past the dark days. Okay, moving past the dark days. Divorce, something that a lot of us don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to engage the thought of leaving their loved one or even getting to a point where they have to go through a divorce. And we're going to discuss just what it takes to go through it. And I'm joined by Kwaku David, who is a life coach. Okay, good morning, Kwaku.
Hi, morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Let's start off by just, from your experience and what you've heard, what leads to a divorce? Because when you meet someone, love is beautiful. Love is everything. You know, you have butterflies. You walk down the aisle. You know, everybody's happy for you, and then, you know, even the way we think of it as dark days, because now the person you've loved your entire life, the person you wanted to spend the rest of your life with, you now have to go through this draining process of living without them.
Yeah, divorce is like the death of a loved one. So it's very dramatic. It's very impacting, you know, and not everyone is prepared necessarily with the shock absorbers to be able to handle it when it does come. Now, what I would like to say is that no one walks down the aisle going to say, I do, with a plan to divorce. Yeah. So there's a process from the I do where there's a lot of joy, excitement, happiness, and all of that. There's something that's happened along the way to the point where you say, you know what? I can't deal. I'm walking. Now, it doesn't matter who walks. Divorce is equally tragic and equally hurtful to both partners. I mean, the way you respond or react to divorce is different based on many things. So things like your mindset, how prepared you are, like I said, to absorb the shock, and also just your basic outlook on life. So if you're generally a positive, optimistic person, you will tend to bounce back quicker You know, just because you rationalize things in a certain positive way, the worst of situations.
But how can you find positivity in a divorce?
Well, here's the interesting thing about optimistic people, okay? And let's just divide the world into two and say there's optimists and there's pessimists, right? But optimists tend to look for reasons why the bad thing happened. But the reason is supposed to be a positive one. So at the end of the day, it's almost like the fresh growth that comes after pruning. Do you understand that? So the extra blooms and the fresh growth that comes after pruning. So the mind of a positive person typically will analyze the situation and say, well, maybe number one, I'm better off. Number two, the one that's coming, you know, is maybe better than the one who's just gone. All these are rationalizations. They may not necessarily be true, but they are a way of putting a positive spin on the bad situation that has happened. And when you do that, it tends to give you an uplifting, you know, experience that allows you to go through, you know, navigate the choppy waters of divorce, because it is rough.
Yeah. So let's talk about what causes some people to just say, I'm done,
yeah,
and then others to stay. So growing up, I saw a lot of women who, let's say, they married as virgins. Now they have 4 children with this man. Perhaps the guy is not contributing anything. The woman is taking care of the entire family. Sometimes they're being abused. And then you will find even the woman's own family members advising her, don't go. Because if you go now, you're going to be stuck with these children by yourself. Because not having someone is better than not having anyone at all. So there's this stigma that comes with people who have gone through a divorce that sometimes hinder both men and women from going through that part. So how does it, what causes some people to just say, I'm done, I'm pulling the string, and for others to say, I'm just going to keep going, no matter how unhappy I am, I'm just going to stick it out.
Yeah. Let me just address something quickly before I answer your question. There's a mindset and a thinking, school of thought, that you're better. You just said it. You're better off with someone, no matter how bad, than to be alone, right? But I don't come from that school. My school of thought says you're better off alone, making yourself happy by yourself, than to be the wrong person.
But isn't that easier said than done? When you think of all the responsibilities, even if the guy is not good, at least you have someone to stay with the kids while you go to work. Or if your wife is not good, at least there are some days, or sometimes just having someone, at least you're not lonely.
Really? Here's the thing. Let's talk about people, what leads people to walk away. Then I'll come back to this. You see, when you start off, it's a relationship. There are different expectations. I have mine, you have yours. Now, we need to synchronize, and that's the whole process of marriage. So you get wedded on the day of the wedding, but you get married over time. Marriage is a process. Marriage is not a destination or an event. It's a process. So you notice that people start to develop similar mannerisms. You know, the couples start to develop. They're blending. That's what's happening. Okay? And the more open and exposed they make themselves to each other, the more they rub off each other. Okay? So you suddenly you see the wife having certain mannerisms that are similar to her husband. Okay, and the husband also having certain mannerisms that are similar to the wife. Typically, the stronger person in the relationship, as in the stronger personality in the relationship, tends to be the one who gets copied. You know, more than the other way around. Okay, there will be copying both ways, but the one who gets copied more is a stronger personality in the relationship. Now, stronger personality doesn't necessarily mean you can have an overtly driven person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are stronger.
Mentally,
because the other person can be, exactly, because the other person could be quiet and more reserved, but very, very stable and solid. You know, so there's you have to look at it both ways. Now, in a relationship where you don't blend and you don't allow yourselves to be exposed to each other through communication, through relating, through a lot of the times, what tends to happen is that if you don't let this process go and you know, progress and be patient whilst it happens, what tends to happen is that 2-3 years. Now, there are markers, okay, in marriage. So research has shown that your most critical point, if you cross the first year of marriage, your critical time that you're likely to divorce is after 2 years.
Why?
I'm not sure if there's a clear explanation for it, but the trends show that most people who don't hit 5 years divorced after 2 years.
Wow.
Then the next most likely time to get divorced, if you cross the 2-year period, is the 5-year mark. Now, these things are actually as a result of people evolving in their personalities. Okay. Research has also shown that human beings generally change every 5 years. Right. Now, they don't suddenly change. There's an evolutionary process that takes place. So if you happen to live apart, it speeds up the process of changing. And when you change, you tend to go divergent ways. When we initially began, we wanted to go on the same path together, and we thought we were on the same boat going in the same direction. If you happen to be, through work or travel or whatever, relocate, okay, then you find that the person has developed new friends, new networks, and all of that. It starts to put a strain on the existing marriage. That's one. When the two people live together, they've not gone anywhere, they live in the same space, they work maybe even work together and all of that, and yet still get to a point where they want to walk away. Typically what happens is that there will be issues in the marriage. So I don't think you should do this way. One person says, I don't agree, but I don't agree not necessarily because I don't want to do it, but I just fundamentally think differently from you. Yeah. What happens then is that you start to realize that maybe I made a mistake, because marriage is about compromise. If you're so fundamentally stuck in a way that I don't, with my value system, agree with, then that's when the feelings begin that I made a mistake, because I didn't know this was the issue. If I knew this was an issue, I wouldn't have committed. You see, but then that takes us to that place where we talk about love is blind and all of that. Love really isn't blind. What happens is that we tend to overlook certain things when we're in love. We excuse certain things when we're in love. We explain away certain things when we're in love, and we tell ourselves it will change. I will change it, or it will change. You know, the only person who can change is yourself. by a decision that you make. No one from outside can change you. You see, the person can influence, but you have to take a decision to change in a certain direction. People who survive and have long-term marriages, one of the key components is understanding. Another key component is acceptance. Accepting you 100% the way you are. And figuring out how I can live with you the way you are. No effort whatsoever to change you from the way you are. However, having said that, both of us have to look to be better as people. So, how can I be a better person? I must want it. How can you be a better person? You must also want it. If you're not looking for improvement and I'm looking for improvement, we'll grow apart.
So let's talk about the stigma that comes with divorce.
Okay. The stigma that comes with divorce is cultural and basically geographical. So in certain spaces, you will notice people divorce like they're taking a shower. There's no issue. It's nothing to some people in certain spaces.
Yeah, but in our context, where it's like families that are married, not the individuals.
Exactly. Now, what tends to happen is that you can do the legal divorce, but you're not divorced till the family accepts that you're divorced. Right? So then there's all those wranglings of family doesn't agree, family doesn't think it's a good idea, depending on your upbringing as well. It's like you've disgraced us, our family, we don't divorce, and there's a whole lot of things that can happen there. And it's very emotional, very, very stressful. However, I think that there are three things that I would like to say here for anybody that's going through something like this. First of all, build your support system. People who are non-judgmental or like-minded. So, like-minded as in they don't disagree with you getting divorced. They think that if there's good enough grounds for it, go ahead. Then you also want those people who don't necessarily agree with you, but will not judge you for taking the decision. You need both people in your support group. Okay? Then take care of your health, mentally, physically, and emotionally, because the divorce season is
draining.
It's just draining, but beyond draining, it's battering. It will wear you down. Okay, so you need to take care of your health physically, emotionally, and mentally. There are people who, there's a lady I heard about actually this morning, that on her wedding day, the man didn't show. That was the end. Every day, she was sat in her home.
And think about it.
And staring blankly through the window. Sometimes in her wedding gown. Hoping that that day was the day he was going to show. How tragic. Your life ends.
That's what I wanted to ask you next. How do we move on? Right? As you said, a divorce is you're an end to, I think you said something in the beginning, an end to love. Right, so you have someone you've loved, you've invested so much in them, right? So beyond the emotional investment, your entire life revolved around the person, right? And you do everything with them. You have all these memories. How do you now say, I'm going to do this all over again? Because most times when people divorce, they're like, I'm not doing this again. Especially if they have a child. They have one child, they're like, I'm done. I can't go through this again. I just can't. So their definition of love now becomes the traumatic experience of divorce. Now they've done all the emotional healing, they've healed all their wounds, but they just can't go through it again.
If you're truly healed, you can have a superficial wound, or at least it looks superficial, and when it heals, you look like you're healed. But maybe beneath, the healing is not complete. Okay, so the fact that you have the skin healed doesn't mean that internally there's still the pain, right? Now, people will look at you, people will say whatever it is that they will say, depending on what they're feeling, experiencing, whatever else. But unless you yourself take charge of your own life and say, I am in control of what happens to me. I am in charge of what happens to me. Unless you can say that, okay, one suggestion from the left will blow you to the right. One suggestion from the right will blow you to the left. You will just be thrown all over the place because you're not taking control of anything. Okay, and some people are like that. Okay, so then your support network becomes absolutely critical because these are the people who will advise you that will be, their advice will literally be swaying you, you know, but you still need them. So if they give you positive advice, then it will take you in a positive direction, right? And then hopefully by the time, you know, if a couple of months, a few months have passed, you can stand on your own 2 feet and deal with it, okay? But then what I was saying earlier was that take care of your health, okay? But then also allow time to pass. Because time is a good healer, right? Now, what you said was that I don't want to go through this all over again. Usually, for someone who says, I don't want to go through this all over again, they've been scarred, all right? If you know you can get injured and yet it leaves no scar, right? If it leaves no scar or the scar is very minimal, typically people with minimal scars from the experience will quite happily say, okay, it's been 2 years, it's been 3 years, you know, let's start looking again, you know, let's move on. I think that there's also that group of people that say, I will use a new experience to get over the old one. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't always work because it's almost like a rebound. You know, and that's not a good thing necessarily because emotionally you're not done with the baggage of your past and you're bringing a new person, and it's not fair to the new person when you're not done with the baggage of your past and you're bringing that person in. But again, for some people it's their way of truly getting over the past by absorbing themselves with a new person. Okay,
so let's talk about the healthy way of moving on, because I think when it comes to the marriage or the wedding day, not the marriage, everybody is there, everybody's happy. But then when you're going through the divorce, it can feel like it can be a very lonely process where you only get support from your pastor and your counselor. So what role does family play in this? Society? How do we make it a bit more? How do we take some of the burden off our loved ones as they are going through this process?
Key word is empathy. We do wedding invitations when we're going to get married, but we don't do divorce announcements. We do wedding announcements in church, but we don't do divorce announcements. So a whole constituency of people will never know you're divorced till they see the new wedding pictures. And they're like, huh? Was he not married already? Was she not married already? What happened? You know, then the whole story starts to come out. Oh no, he's been divorced for that. So it's a difficult one, particularly in our space. You know, so I think that empathy is the key. People need to understand that first of all, marriage is an experience that two people choose to enter, and they should be permitted to do that as adults. Right? If they choose at a point to say that, you know what, we really wanted this, but at this point we feel like we're probably better off in different vehicles at this point. This one vehicle that we're in is just not working. We need to be empathetic to say that these grown up people that made a choice and we felt they were grown up enough to make a good choice and we supported them. If at this point they're saying that they no longer feel this way, Yes, we can advise. Yes, we can suggest. Yes, we can recommend. But at the end of the day, if they still choose to walk away, we need to support. And we need to be empathetic. Okay? And in our society, it's easier said than done. Yeah. But I think that the society is also evolving in a positive way in many senses, you know. But like many things like mental health and so on and so forth, we still have, you know, taboos and our reservations and so on. It's not allowing us to develop as fast as we can or we should to embrace everyone in the society that's going through different things that we don't necessarily agree with and all of that. And divorce is one of them, you know. So we are not necessarily excited when people are getting divorced, but we need to understand that just as death is part of life, divorce also exists and is a reality. And so if a couple decide that they want to walk away from what they had, even if it's 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, whatever, we need to just accept. After we've given the advice and the counsel, let's not be judgmental. Let's advise, let's counsel, let's recommend. But more importantly than anything else, let's let them take the decision on their own. And let's be empathetic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kwaku David. So we have learned to advise, help them get counsel, and also empathize with them. And just as we are there for the wedding, we should also make ourselves available when they are going through this terrible, or this part of their life. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to learn. I hope you've learned a lot. Keep your comments coming with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. Now, you've been hearing of him all morning. He's been sharing some of his music with us since the show started, and now we're going to learn more about the man behind 1-0. Wilberforce is with him. Wilberforce, are you ready?
Yes, I'm very, very ready. The man behind 1-0, there's no man behind 1-0. He is the 1-0. Anyway, thank you very much for our interesting discussion there. I was following your discussion with Kwaku David, and we have actually learned a lot. I mean, we could see 1-0 was actually taking notes, you know, in relation to divorce and the like. I don't know whether he intends to get divorced or get married very soon. But anyway, we have been joined on set on Breakfast Daily by the gentleman 1-0. 1-0, how are you?
I'm good.
What's the real name?
William Ansah.
William Ansah. Yeah. So, okay, so that's a 1, right?
No.
Oh, well, how did that 1-0 come about? Because I was thinking 1-0, like W-A-N. No, so William, W, and then A-N maybe for Ansah.
No, 1-0 means one and only.
One and only?
Yeah, it means one and only.
Then what's the N?
No, it means one and only. I just switched.
In fact, sorry, I'll keep quizzing you on the name 1-0.
Okay.
I can spend like 2 hours quizzing you on the name 1-0. Okay. How does 1-0 mean one and only? Because is it W-A-N or one as in 0 O-N-E?
Okay. I just got creative with the spelling, but it's the same. It just means one and only.
So it's William Ansah.
Yeah, William Ansah. Yeah.
And how long has William Ansah been in the system, in the music system, trying to, you know, put good music out there?
I mean, I started doing music when I was young. When I was, you know. I mean, everybody says this, but it's not cliche. I've really been doing music for a long time. But I took it professionally, I think 5 years ago, when I started pushing my own music and selling my CDs on the streets.
Oh, that's how you started, selling your CDs on the streets?
Yeah, that's how I started promoting myself. I started selling my CDs on the, you know, trying to, you know, gain some capital to push myself and stuff. And so far, so good. I mean, that the capital I got from selling my CDs has pushed me to a certain level. So. Yeah. So
how does selling your CDs on the streets actually work? Because especially in the Osu area, you know, you have quite a few. I've had quite a few young men come to me with their CDs, and like, how does that system actually work?
Well, I don't sell it in the street like Osu streets. I usually do at like sometimes at the mall, but what I do is that I don't really sell it. Let's put it that way. I don't really sell it. I use it to raise funds. So we give it as a. You can give a token like maybe, but what's the token is anything from 10 CDs upwards, and people actually support and help us push the music, and you know, and it's actually worked out for 5 years, and we've been pushing.
So you did that for how long?
Well, I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it?
I'm still doing it.
Okay, and is it working? Is it a positive way to raise funds for your music?
Oh yeah, I mean, as a couple of years ago, we've sold. A couple of years ago, sold 10,000 copies. So right now, sold about 10,000 copies. So
wow.
Yeah.
So having sold all that amount, why are you still doing that? Or that's what works for you? Because I feel if you sold over 10,000 copies, and even if you're selling a CD for one CD, you would have had at least 10,000 CDs right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was work in progress. Like as you move, you do stuff. So I mean, I use the money to.
You push it back into the music.
Back in the business, shoot my video. It's not like money I was saving up for a particular moment, but money I was using to push myself.
Oh, okay.
So I shot a couple of videos.
So you have a video out?
Yeah, I actually have a new video out right now, which is on TV.
For which particular song?
And Belimo.
Belimo.
Yeah, that's the last song I performed.
We want you to do this.
Yeah, and I have a couple of videos out there that were doing quite well,
Okay. Okay, now I want to get into your mind. Okay. When you're writing songs, what motivates you? What do you usually think about when you're writing music?
You see, that's the thing. It's more of a personal feeling for me. It's somebody say passion, but it's about how I'm feeling at the moment in my life. I cannot write anything outside my life, and I write stuff that I know will motivate you. Because it's all about helping somebody. It's all about somebody helping somebody go through a certain problem. You feel me? So when I'm writing it, I write in such a way that, you saw the last song I performed. I mean,
very emotional.
Yeah, very emotional, and everybody can relate to it because I'm trying to impact your life and let you know that no matter where you're going, it's going to happen for you. Like, just
so you have been through a lot yourself.
Yeah, I've been through a lot. I mean,
what are some of the highlights?
Let's just put it this way. Like, if going out there and chasing a dream to sell your CDs at an era where everybody thinks CDs will sell. It's actually a big deal, because everybody told me CDs won't sell. When I actually came up with the idea, I was in the studio and everybody thought I was crazy.
Wow.
They started laughing at me. 1 year later, the same people came back to me and told me to sell their CDs for them. So I'm a strong believer in like anything you want, just go out there and get it. Passion is everything.
Passion is everything. Yeah. Now, before you go, I want to get a sort of a sense. What you do is hip hop.
Yeah.
Yes, strictly hip hop, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, hip hop is rap, so I rap, but I mean, on the beats, they call it. I mean, Belimo is on an Afro beat type of beat, so people will say it's Afro beat, but
cool. But you ascribe yourself more or less to the hip hop genre.
Yeah, that's
okay. Good. So now, where do you see hip hop going? Because we've had. I mean, hip hop in Ghana, let me put it. Where do you see hip hop in Ghana going? When it seems, for instance, there was almost a drive towards hip hop, and then Azonto just turned the system, and now we seem to be diverting away from hip hop totally.
I don't really think so. I mean,
or let me say English hip hop. Is that fair?
I don't really think so. Hip hop is not a language. Hip hop is the art. The art of rapping, that's hip hop, and hip hop is a broad culture, because rapping is rapping. But if you say hip hop, he has the break dancing, he has the R&B, he has everything. So that's hip hop culture. But when it comes to rapping, I think Ghanaians are actually drawing closer to it, because a few years ago, some songs that are actually making waves now will make waves because people were actually thinking about their zones and stuff. Okay. But last year, the biggest sensation was Kwesiata, who does hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So I really think Ghanaians are really getting to understand
the hip hop. Rather, we are now driving towards hip hop instead.
Driving towards
okay,
hip-hop,
but I want to narrow in on English hip hop. Do you think English hip hop has any?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like,
a
lot of people don't like accepting change. That's how it is. A lot of people, it's the truth. A lot of people don't like accepting change, and they feel like and everybody has the.
But will you switch your style if the market demands for it?
No, I actually do a lot.
You're more versatile.
I'm versatile, yeah.
Okay.
So I chip in here and there, but that's why it's really from my heart. What I do is it's how I feel. You get it? And I'm not bent to pressure because that's what somebody else wants me to do.
Okay.
I want to inspire you through what I've actually been. I don't want to lie to you. I want you to to actually be inspired because I'm speaking the truth.
Super.
I'm preaching. This is the gift God has given me. So
I'll take your final comments, on anything, and also put out your social media handle and everything in case someone wants to contact you, get a CD, have you perform at the event, anything.
Yeah, so they can follow me at The Real Wano on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, William Wano Answer. And yeah, and what I've said is that whatever you're chasing, like any dream you have, just go after it and keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So the doors, they have no choice. The doors will break.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just curious, just really quickly, is there someone you want to say hi to?
Yeah, so there's
someone special you want to say hi to?
Shout out to my team, Team 1-0. You know, they're doing a good job and they're
But there's no someone special you want to say hi to. How old is 1-0, by the way?
1-0 is...
You're thinking about your age. Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you very much, 1-0. Now we'll just, take a quick break. Remember to send your messages via #BreakfastDaily. And of course, we also live City TV GH on Facebook. So, yeah, keep it coming. Also, the WhatsApp line 055-0585-832. Stay tuned.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi, everyone. It's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe. Swag.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
Okay, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, or, a few minutes more Breakfast Daily.
Thank you guys so much at home for spending your Monday morning with us, the last Monday of July.
When you say that, I get very sad.
Next time we see you, it'll be August. Yeah. Next Monday we'll see you. Will be.
It's sad.
But it's been an eventful month. It's been a highly eventful month.
Once we get to August, I feel like the year is about to end.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because August, February, March, April, June, July, August. August. No, you know that. September, no, December. December is just around the corner.
Stop.
It came too quick to me.
But it's a good reminder that if you set goals for yourself, remember that those New Year's resolution you set, new year, new me. If you're still the old you, it's time to get into the new you because the year is about to end. Exactly.
Yeah, do something now.
Yeah. You sent us a bunch of messages, but we want you to enjoy 1-0. So we will leave you at the hands of 1-0. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. We are your lovely host,
Isaac Wilberforce-Mensah, media. No, I'm just trying to remember. No, he forgot his age, so I'm trying to remember. Send me your messages on Wilberforce GH on all social media handles.
Yes, and I am Jifa Ikea Amatan, Jifa Ikea on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. It's Jifa City TV. We will see you same time tomorrow. Have a lovely Monday.
I take my three, but I tell him more. Shorty cool down, but age, say no more. Child be the boss with the boss. Look, I do 50 million cars, it be all for your father. Tough, it's real to jaw, make a bang like a pitch. Hammer you down, make a bang like a miss. If I make her enter the net. If I buy you, pause, make a fence to the choice, you go feel, make a bet. Breakfast in bed. John go to be my guy. I'll make my feelings to make out a shock. You better than bad. I know I saw they not watch you they talk. I swear that I ball. Billy, you never go ball. Billy, this time I'm for score. Check, give me a chance and I give you my all. Billy, I swear I go fall. I want you some more. Chocolate, I'm on it. The way that you fronted, the washing, the funny me safe. Chocolate, I never be fronting. Tonight be the night and I feel like I'm giving my best. I'm hitting this street, go feel that I'm great. I eat all the food and I lick off the plate. If I send you a let, make her enter the net. If I buy you, pause, make a friend to the trust, you go feel, make a bet. Breakfast in bed, scatter my hair. Don't go to be my guy, I'm in for account. If I send you
Call me boss. No, no.
If I say make a and if I trust you go down for